There comes a time in life when you must make a choice between holding on to the weight of the past or embracing the limitless possibilities of your future. Too many people spend their lives chasing approval, seeking validation, clinging to relationships, friendships, and situations that no longer serve them. But what if I told you that your breakthrough, your success, your peace, everything you've ever wanted is waiting on the other side of one simple decision? The decision to focus on yourself, the decision to let go. It's not easy. Walking away never is. But let me ask you this. How long will you continue to put yourself last? How long will you stay in a place where you are not valued, not respected, not seen? How long will you waste your energy on people who drain you, on situations that stunt your growth, on a life that no longer aligns with who you are meant to be? You see, growth is painful. Change is uncomfortable. But nothing is more painful than being stuck in a place where you no longer belong. Many people go through life holding on to relationships, situations, and habits that no longer serve them. They cling to familiarity, even when it drains their energy and keeps them from reaching their full potential. But why? Why do people struggle to let go of what is obviously holding them back? The answer is simple: fear. Fear has a way of keeping people stuck in places they have long outgrown. It disguises itself as comfort, whispering doubts, making them believe that stepping into the unknown is more dangerous than staying in a toxic or unfulfilling situation. Fear tells them they might not find better. Fear convinces them that loneliness is worse than being surrounded by the wrong people. And so they hold on, not because they are happy, but because they are afraid. Fear of the unknown is one of the strongest chains that keep people trapped. The mind naturally seeks security and familiarity. It is easier to remain in a situation that feels predictable, even if it is toxic, rather than step into a world of uncertainty. This is why people stay in relationships that do not bring them joy. This is why they hold on to jobs that make them miserable. This is why they refuse to take risks that could change their lives for the better. They believe that the pain they know is safer than the possibility of something new, but this is an illusion. The unknown is not something to fear. It is where growth, success, and happiness begin. People also fear being alone. They convince themselves that it is better to be surrounded by anyone, even those who drain them, than to walk alone. This mindset is dangerous because it leads to self-sacrifice. They tolerate mistreatment, they accept less than they deserve, and they continue giving their energy to those who take without giving in return. They forget that loneliness is not the absence of people, it is the absence of connection. Being alone does not mean being lonely. In fact, it is in solitude that people often discover their greatest strengths. It is in solitude that they heal, grow, and learn to love themselves. When they fear being alone, they trap themselves in spaces where they are not truly valued. Another powerful fear that keeps people stuck is the fear of failure. They worry that if they walk away from what is familiar, they might not succeed in finding something better. They think, what if I leave this relationship and never find love again? What if I quit this job and don't find a better one? What if I pursue my dreams and fail? But what if they succeed? What if leaving creates space for something extraordinary? What if walking away is the key to unlocking their true potential? The truth is, failure is not the end. It is a stepping stone. Every successful person has faced setbacks. Every great story includes moments of struggle. The only real failure is remaining in a place that is destroying you simply because you are too afraid to take a chance on yourself. Fear also makes people believe they need validation from others. They worry about what people will say if they change, if they choose a new path, if they focus on themselves. They seek approval from family, friends, and society, even at the cost of their own happiness. But living for the approval of others is a trap. No matter what they do, people will always have opinions. Some will support them, others will criticize them. But at the end of the day, they are the ones who have to live with their choices. They are the ones who have to wake up every morning and face their reality. So why let the opinions of others dictate their life? Why let fear of judgment keep them from making the decisions that will bring them peace and fulfillment? Another reason people remain stuck is because they have invested so much time and energy into something that they don't want to walk away. They think, I've been in this relationship for 5 years. I can't leave now. I've worked at this job for a decade. I can't start over. I've spent my whole life trying to make this friendship work. I can't just let it go. But time invested is not a reason to stay in a situation that is no longer serving them. The past cannot be changed, but the future is still in their hands. Just because they have spent years doing something does not mean they have to continue doing it. If something is not bringing them peace, growth, or happiness, walking away is not losing. It is choosing themselves. Fear creates excuses. It makes people say, I'll leave when the time is right. I'll focus on myself when things settle down. I'll make a change when I feel ready. But the truth is, there is no perfect time. There will always be an excuse, always a reason to wait. But waiting only prolongs the pain. The longer they delay change, the longer they suffer. The right time to choose themselves is always now. The greatest transformations happen when people refuse to let fear control them. The moment they decide that their happiness is more important than their fears, everything changes. They realize that the unknown is not something to dread, but something to embrace. They understand that being alone is better than being in the wrong company. They see failure not as an ending, but as a lesson. They stop seeking approval and start living for themselves. And they recognize that their time is too valuable to waste on things that do not bring them joy. Letting go is one of the hardest things a person can do, yet it is also one of the most powerful. Many people mistake it for weakness, for giving up, for admitting defeat. But the truth is, letting go is not about losing. It is about gaining. It is about gaining freedom from what no longer serves you, gaining clarity about who you are and where you are going, and gaining the strength to walk away from anything that hinders your growth. The ability to release toxic relationships, old wounds, limiting beliefs, and situations that no longer align with your purpose is a true sign of inner strength. It takes courage to look at something you once loved, something you once fought for, and decide that it is no longer meant for you. The reason many people struggle to let go is because they are emotionally invested. They have poured their time, energy, and heart into something or someone, and the idea of walking away feels like throwing all that effort away. But holding on to something just because of the time invested is an illusion. Time spent in the wrong place is not an investment, it is a lesson. Every experience, every relationship, every moment spent in a difficult situation has taught something valuable, but that does not mean it should last forever. People grow, and as they grow, their needs, desires, and paths change. What once fit them perfectly may now be holding them back. Letting go requires trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the unknown, trust that what is ahead is greater than what you are leaving behind. It is easy to cling to what is familiar, even when it is painful, because at least you know what to expect. But growth does not happen in comfort. It happens in the space between what was and what will be. It happens in the decision to walk away, even when the next step is unclear. Many people stay in toxic relationships not because they are happy, but because they are afraid of being alone. They convince themselves that it is better to tolerate mistreatment, disrespect, or indifference than to face the unknown future without that person. But being alone is not a punishment. It is an opportunity. It is a chance to reconnect with yourself, to heal, to build a life that fulfills you without relying on someone else to complete you. When you let go of the wrong people, you make space for the right ones. When you release toxic attachments, you allow genuine love and respect to enter your life. But none of this can happen if you are still clinging to something that is breaking you. Letting go is also about releasing expectations. Many people suffer not because of what happened to them, but because they are holding on to how they thought things should have been. They replay scenarios in their mind, wishing they could change the past, hoping for a different outcome, refusing to accept reality. But the past cannot be changed, and wishing things were different does not make them so. The sooner you accept what is, rather than dwelling on what could have been, the sooner you free yourself from unnecessary pain. Forgiveness is another powerful part of letting go. Not for others, but for yourself. Holding on to resentment, anger, or disappointment only poisons your own peace. It does not change what happened. It does not make the other person suffer. It only keeps you trapped in a cycle of negativity. Forgiveness is not about saying what happened was okay. It is about refusing to let it control you any longer. It is about choosing your own peace over your pain. One of the biggest fears people have when letting go is the idea that they are making a mistake. They wonder, what if I regret this? What if things could have gotten better? What if I never find something as good? But these thoughts are just fear disguised as logic. The truth is, if something was meant for you, it would not require you to suffer to keep it. If a relationship, a friendship, a job, or a situation is truly right for you, it will bring you peace, not constant struggle. The things meant for you will never require you to beg, to shrink yourself, or to sacrifice your self-worth. Letting go does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you forget the memories or deny the love you once had. It simply means you respect yourself enough to walk away from what is no longer serving you. It means you value your happiness and peace more than the fear of change. It means you understand that you deserve better and are willing to make space for it. There is power in closing a door that no longer leads to the future you want. There is strength in releasing what was so you can embrace what will be. Letting go is not about losing anything. It is about setting yourself free. When you decide to focus on yourself, people will talk. They will criticize you, judge you, and question your choices. They will call you selfish for prioritizing your well-being. They will say you have changed, as if growth is something to be ashamed of. The truth is, not everyone will understand your journey, and they are not supposed to. The people who are meant to be in your life will support your evolution, not resist it. But those who are uncomfortable with your growth will try to pull you back to where they are simply because they fear being left behind. Many people are trapped in a cycle of seeking approval. They live their lives according to the expectations of others, constantly adjusting themselves to fit into the mold that society, family, or friends have created for them. They suppress their dreams, their voice, their desires, all because they are afraid of judgment. But no matter what you do, people will always have an opinion. If you stay the same, they will question why you are not growing. If you grow, they will say you have become arrogant or distant. If you succeed, they will look for reasons to doubt your success. And if you fail, they will say, I told you so. The reality is you cannot control how people perceive you, but you can control whether or not you allow their words to affect you. Growth often means outgrowing people. When you start setting boundaries, certain people will become uncomfortable. They were used to you always being available, always saying yes, always sacrificing your own needs to accommodate theirs. The moment you decide to prioritize yourself, they will accuse you of changing. But this is not a bad thing. The people who truly care about you will respect your growth, even if it means they no longer have unlimited access to you. The ones who get upset are the ones who benefited from you not valuing yourself enough. Let them talk, let them judge. Their words do not define you. What defines you is your actions, your mindset, and your commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. The more you focus on your own growth, the less you will care about the opinions of others. Their judgments will become background noise, irrelevant to the life you are building. Some people will resent your progress because it reminds them of their own stagnation. They will try to make you feel guilty for wanting more, for choosing a different path, for refusing to settle. But you do not owe anyone an explanation for why you are growing. You do not have to apologize for evolving. You do not have to lower yourself to make others comfortable. Your only responsibility is to live a life that aligns with your purpose, your values, and your happiness. People who judge you are often projecting their own fears and insecurities onto you. They see you doing what they are too afraid to do. They see you taking risks, making changes, and becoming stronger while they remain stuck in their old ways. Instead of using your growth as inspiration, they criticize you to justify their own inaction. But their fears are not your burden to carry. You are not responsible for making them feel comfortable at the expense of your own progress. One of the biggest lessons in life is learning to be okay with being misunderstood. Not everyone will see your vision. Not everyone will support your journey, and that is okay. You are not living for them. You are living for yourself. The moment you stop seeking validation from others, you free yourself from their control. You realize that their opinions hold no real power unless you allow them to. The best response to criticism is success. While they are busy talking, keep building. While they are doubting you, keep proving them wrong, not through arguments or explanations, but through action. Focus so much on your growth, your goals, and your happiness that their words become meaningless. Eventually, they will either respect your journey or remove themselves from your life. Either way, you win. When you stop chasing people and start investing in yourself, everything changes. Your mindset shifts, your energy transforms, and new opportunities begin to appear. Too many people spend their lives seeking validation, approval, and acceptance from others, believing that their worth is tied to how much they are loved, needed, or praised. They pour their time, energy, and emotions into relationships, friendships, and social circles that often do not reciprocate the same effort. They constantly give, hoping to be seen, hoping to be appreciated, hoping to be chosen. But the truth is, the moment you turn that energy inward and start focusing on your own growth, you unlock a new level of power that you never knew existed. When you stop chasing people, you take back control of your life. No longer are you waiting for someone to acknowledge your worth. No longer are you desperate for attention or acceptance. Instead, you shift your attention to building yourself. Your skills, your mindset, your dreams. You begin to nurture your passions, develop your talents, and create the life you truly desire. You realize that you do not need anyone else to complete you because you are already whole on your own. Self-focus leads to transformation because it forces you to address your own needs, your own wounds, and your own potential. Many people avoid looking inward because it is easier to distract themselves with others. They pour into relationships to avoid dealing with their own insecurities. They chase friendships to escape loneliness. They seek love to fill a void that only self-love can truly satisfy. But when you finally stop running from yourself and start investing in your own well-being, you experience true growth. You begin to heal, you begin to evolve, and you begin to attract a higher quality of life. When you focus on yourself, your energy changes. You no longer radiate desperation or neediness. You no longer feel the need to beg for attention, approval, or love. Instead, you radiate confidence, peace, and self-assurance. People are naturally drawn to those who are secure in themselves, not those who constantly seek external validation. By turning inward and focusing on your own development, you naturally attract people who respect and appreciate you rather than those who take you for granted. Opportunities also begin to open up when you shift your focus. When you stop wasting time trying to fix others, prove your worth, or chase relationships that are not meant for you, you suddenly have more time and energy to build the life you want. You start a new project, you learn a new skill, you pursue a dream you once put on hold. Your personal growth accelerates because you are no longer distracted by things that were draining you. You start to notice progress in areas of your life where you once felt stuck. Focusing on yourself also strengthens your ability to set boundaries. When you no longer live for the approval of others, you become more selective about who and what you allow into your life. You learn to say no to things that do not align with your values. You recognize when someone is taking advantage of your kindness. You stop tolerating mistreatment, manipulation, or inconsistency. You understand that your time, energy, and peace are valuable, and you protect them fiercely. This transformation also leads to a deep sense of inner peace. When you are constantly chasing people, seeking approval, or trying to fit into spaces that do not truly accept you, you experience stress, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion. But when you choose to focus on yourself, you experience freedom. You no longer feel weighed down by the opinions, judgments, or expectations of others. You begin to live life on your own terms. One of the most powerful shifts that happen when you focus on yourself is the realization that you were never lacking in the first place. You were never unworthy. You were never not enough. You were simply looking for fulfillment in the wrong places. Once you recognize that everything you need is already within you, you become unstoppable. Your growth, your success, and your happiness are no longer dependent on anyone else. You take full responsibility for your life, and in doing so, you unlock a level of power that you never imagined possible. Not everyone is meant to go where you are going. As you grow, evolve, and step into your purpose, you will notice that some people start falling away. Some relationships will feel distant. Certain friendships will no longer align. and the people you once relied on may no longer understand you. This is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that you are moving forward. Growth comes with separation, and the higher you rise, the more selective your circle becomes. Many people struggle with this because they have a deep emotional attachment to those who were once close to them. They think that just because someone has been in their life for years, they should remain there forever. But time does not determine whether someone should stay in your life. Alignment does. If someone is no longer growing with you, if they are holding you back, if they are resisting your evolution, then they are not meant to go where you are going. Holding on to people who no longer align with your path only slows you down. Some people are only meant to be part of your journey for a season. They came into your life to teach you something, to help you in a certain phase, or to show you something about yourself. But not everyone is meant to be part of your future. When you try to force people to stay who were never meant to continue the journey with you, you create unnecessary pain. You lower your energy trying to hold on to something that is naturally falling away. The people who are truly meant for you will grow with you. They will support your evolution, not resist it. One of the hardest things to accept is that some of the closest people in your life may not support your growth. Not because they do not care, but because your growth reminds them of their own stagnation. When you start leveling up, some people will feel threatened. They will say you have changed, that you are acting differently, that you think you are better than them. But the truth is, they are projecting their own fears onto you. They see you stepping into your power while they remain stuck, and instead of using your growth as inspiration, they try to pull you back down. This is why it is so important to surround yourself with people who encourage your evolution. The right people will push you forward, not hold you back. They will celebrate your progress, not resent it. They will challenge you to be better, not make you feel guilty for wanting more. Pay attention to who claps when you win. If someone is uncomfortable with your success, they were never truly in your corner. Letting go of people who no longer align with your path is not an act of betrayal. It is an act of self-respect. You are not abandoning them. You are simply choosing yourself. You are choosing your peace, your growth, and your future over relationships that no longer serve you. Some people will understand this and some will not. But you cannot shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You cannot slow down your growth just to match the pace of those who refuse to evolve. When you start walking in your purpose, when you start becoming the person you were always meant to be, you will naturally attract the right people, people who align with your energy, people who inspire you, challenge you, and push you toward greatness. But you cannot make space for them if you are still holding on to those who are no longer meant to be part of your journey. The longer you hold on to what is not for you, the more you delay what is. Trust the process, trust that as you elevate, the right people will come into your life, and trust that those who are falling away are doing so for a reason. Not everyone is meant to go where you are going, and that is okay. Let them go. Keep moving forward. Keep growing. The people who are truly meant for you will meet you at your next level. Your peace is your responsibility. No one else can protect it for you. No one else can prioritize it the way you can. If you do not take control of your peace, the world will constantly find ways to disturb it. People will bring negativity into your life, situations will drain your energy, and circumstances will test your patience. But when you learn to protect your peace, you stop allowing outside forces to dictate your happiness. You realize that your well-being is in your hands, and you refuse to give anyone else the power to disrupt it. Too often, people sacrifice their peace for the sake of pleasing others. They stay in toxic relationships because they do not want to hurt someone's feelings. They tolerate mistreatment because they are afraid of confrontation. They put themselves in stressful situations because they do not want to seem rude, ungrateful, or distant. But the truth is, every time you sacrifice your peace for the sake of others, you are betraying yourself. You are teaching yourself that your feelings, your comfort, and your well-being do not matter as much as making others happy. And the more you do this, the more drained, anxious, and resentful you become. Protecting your peace means setting boundaries and sticking to them. It means saying no when something does not feel right. It means removing yourself from toxic environments, cutting off negative people, and choosing your well-being over external validation. It is not selfish to protect your peace. It is necessary because without peace, you cannot truly be happy. You cannot fully focus on your goals. You cannot give your best to the things that truly matter. When you are constantly in a state of stress, frustration, or exhaustion, you are not living, you are merely surviving. One of the biggest threats to your peace is allowing negative people to have access to your energy. There are people who thrive on drama, who bring chaos into every situation, who always have something to complain about. If you allow these people into your life, their negativity will start affecting you. You will find yourself feeling drained, frustrated, or anxious every time you interact with them. Protecting your peace means recognizing when someone is an emotional burden and distancing yourself accordingly. You do not have to entertain every argument. You do not have to respond to every insult. You do not have to engage with people who only bring negativity into your space. Another way to protect your peace is by being mindful of what you consume. The news, social media, conversations, everything you expose yourself to has an impact on your mental and emotional state. If you constantly feed your mind with negativity, fear, and toxicity, it will start to affect your outlook on life. Be intentional about what you allow into your space. Surround yourself with positivity, with things that uplift and inspire you. Spend time with people who encourage you, who make you feel good about yourself, who bring peace into your life rather than stress. Your peace is also protected by how you respond to situations. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you react. There will always be people who try to provoke you, who test your patience, who push your buttons, but you do not have to give them the reaction they are looking for. Learning to remain calm, to choose peace over conflict, to walk away from situations that do not serve you, this is how you take control of your energy. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every battle is worth fighting. Sometimes the best response is no response at all. Letting go of what you cannot control is also key to protecting your peace. Many people stress over things that are completely out of their hands. They overthink, they worry, they replay scenarios in their minds, hoping they could have done something differently. But the truth is, some things are simply beyond your control. You cannot control how others treat you. You cannot control every outcome. You cannot force people to understand you, to respect you, or to act the way you want them to. The moment you accept this, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. You stop wasting energy on things that do not matter. You choose to focus only on what you can control, your actions, your mindset, your growth, and your peace. The more you prioritize your peace, the more you will notice how much lighter life feels. The things that once triggered you will no longer have power over you. The people who once drained you will no longer have access to you. The situations that once caused you stress will no longer affect you in the same way. Because when you truly commit to protecting your peace, you step into a life of freedom, a life where you are in control of your emotions, your energy, and your happiness. A life where you no longer react to negativity, but instead rise above it. At the end of the day, it all comes down to one decision. Will you keep carrying the weight of people, places, and things that no longer serve you, or will you finally set yourself free? Your future is waiting. Your dreams are waiting. The person you are meant to become is waiting, but they will not wait forever. You must decide right here, right now, that your peace, your happiness, and your purpose are worth more than the opinions, judgments, and expectations of others. Let them go. Let go of the guilt, let go of the fear, let go of the illusion that you need anyone's approval to live the life you were born to live. Walk boldly into your destiny. Walk confidently into your purpose, and never again shrink yourself to fit into places you have already outgrown. Because the moment you truly focus on yourself, you will realize you never needed them. You only ever needed you.